Hello everyone, and welcome to Awake and Conquer. Today's video is titled My Journey, and it is basically a summarization of my path to discovering that I was involved with a female covert narcissist. So this is a request I get quite often from subscribers and viewers wanting a synopsis on how I came into the knowledge. So guys, I'll break right into it. So I was introduced to my ex through a coworker. The relationship started quite heavy, very passionate, and moved very fast. It seemed like everything that I enjoyed, she also enjoyed, which later I would find out within the world of narcissism, this was called mirroring. As the relationship progressed, within the first year, I started to see signs and red flags that I overlooked because of my desire of wanting a good relationship. And at that time, I was in the love bombing stage with her, and I actually enjoyed being around her. She was quite charming, very charming, actually. Kind of swept me off my feet. I've mentioned this in previous videos. She was the first woman that had ever sent me flowers. So this just kind of gives you an insight into how charming narcissistic females can be. Moving forward, within the second to third year, the love bombing phase was still in effect, and with each year that went by, her control kind of went into a more stronger mode. So, we spent a lot of time together. I became very alienated from friends and family. It seemed like my whole entire conversation at that time was simply about this person. And as we moved in, or she moved into the devalue stage, was where I started to see her mask slip. So she started to display things that led me to believe that she was not the person that she claimed she was. She was not the endearing, sweet, down-to-earth woman that she claimed to be. Later on in the relationship, she became very materialistic, very opinionated, and very concerned with other people's thoughts about her, specifically her and our relationship. If I went anywhere, it had to be disclosed to her. She didn't trust any of my closest friends. My closest friends, particularly the women, were ousted immediately. Any guy friend that she did not like, and when I say like, that didn't praise her beauty or didn't think that she was the best thing that ever had happened to me, they were removed quite swiftly. She was very, very against my mother and very against my sisters, actually to the point of hatred, which didn't sit quite well with me. In meeting her family, which I only met later because she kept them hidden from me, they were very dysfunctional. Her father's an alcoholic, and her mother is also a covert. Her mother is a malignant narcissist. So essentially, her mother controls everything that she did, and in some aspects, controlled everything that I did. So as the relationship progressed, I thought that her wanting to control me was basically her way of saying that, she was really in love with me, and, she couldn't live or bear to be without me or not know what I was doing at any given moment. I would later on find that was a complete lie after seeing her flirt 100,000 times in front of my face, tell me that I didn't see it, then go home, tell me she loved me, and we would have this crazy makeout sex. And then, again, she would repeat the cycle. So within the 7 years of the relationship, we probably broke up 100 times. And that was just me trying to walk away from the situation until we had children, where I felt like I needed to be 100% committed to her and my family, which she didn't do the same. So, there was a lot of push and pull. And again, I think for most male victims, the reason that we get caught up so long into the relationship is that most males are going to equate a female's jealousy as a form of affection, as a form that she's afraid to lose me, as a form that she cares or she wouldn't do this, which most toxic people will insist that they care because they're trying to control you. And it couldn't be something that was further from the truth. So, as I started to see that, a lot of what she would say would never match what she actually did, is when I started to say, you know what, something is wrong here. Her family was completely dysfunctional. Like I said, her mom was a malignant narcissist, and she's a covert narcissist, and her dad is an alcoholic. So, after I went in to do research, I discovered that she had all the elements of narcissism, and I was so down one day, and I was talking about the problems with my relationship with a friend of mine, and they mentioned the word narcissistic. A friend of mine said, well, it seems like she's narcissistic. And, oftentimes people use that word, but they actually don't know what it means. And I kind of brushed it off as him just talking, and then I went in and I started to research and look up what that actually meant. And lo and behold, everything that I read described her behavior to a T. So arguments, there were constant arguments. Most of the arguments were about her behavior and the way that she talked to people, the way she talked to me, her outburst, and her incredible ability to not be able to control her emotions. Very sexual. I found out that she had a lot of relationships with the opposite sex. She actually had one particular best friend that they are intimate quite often, which was unbeknownst to me until I started to basically privately investigate everything that had been happening to me and her. And that's when I was able to deduce that she was in fact a female covert narcissist. So, she would tell me she loved me to death and that she loved me. And if I went through her phone and read a text message, she would be telling other guys and her best friends that she couldn't stand me. She hated my every existence and breath. She actually wished that I would die. And so I couldn't quite put my finger on it because although, she would say these things about me, she would never leave. She would not want to go. If I tried to break up with her or talk to her consciously and try to separate from her, she would never want that. She would just stay there and come back and beg. But the behavior would never, ever change. And guys, this is essentially how I came into the knowledge that I was, in fact, involved with a female covert narcissist. Now, I could probably tell you guys this story a lot better in person. I could go for hours talking about the red flags that I saw and some of the craziest things that I've experienced with my ex. I have never, ever, ever been in a relationship where I have suffered as much emotional and psychological abuse, above all, from anyone. And, after I got the knowledge, it was so clear to me that she is a sick person and that narcissistic personality disorder is a serious disorder, and that she needs a lot of help, which I could never give her because I'm not trained or specialized in that field. So, this is basically a nutshell of how I came to discover that I was in fact with a female covert narcissist. Guys, like and subscribe, and remember, you are more than conquerors.